You on is my phone showing me that I had low storage. Right. Okay, so I deleted out some stuff and it still was showing. Okay, anyway, we're gonna move on. I left off at talking about ordinary people being put into positions and power. I get an example of a person at the grocery store and ordinary person with the power of, I want to say, this organized community, blah blah blah. Watch, and so then they start to pick at that person because so they can. Um, this thing that was done in the darkness, if it was done by the government, they may have good intentions in the start of it, but to hire, let's just say, to hire people off the streets, people that don't really have anything, people that don't even see a future, and they start to get this massive amount of money. They'll do whatever it takes to hold on to it. So they'll lie on you. They'll come up with some things to keep their income coming in because they feel like if they don't have anything to report or do, then eventually $300 a day gonna get cut off. I don't know if that's still what they're paying them. I'm quite sure they're probably not paying the newcomers that same amount of money because they figured out that they can buy people for that amount of money. And I hate to say it like this, but I mean it's like the house nigga scenario. I'm sorry, y'all, but that's what it feels like. I mean, people will sell their soul. They're turning their grandmama for extra amount of money. You got to realize these people ain't got nothing. They don't have a future. The jealous hearted of you. I'm a writer, and so whatever I might have been delayed on because people have tried to overcome addictions and stuff like that, and they actually do their hardest to keep you from overcoming. Follow you into detox and continue to shock you with the device. Try to, just try to stop you. There's been incidents where people couldn't take it anymore, took guns and went and shot up places where they thought the stalking was happening, and then they shoot themselves or get killed by the police. Their story never told. They try to portray TIs as lonely individuals, or heck, half of the world. That's individuality. It doesn't mean that that person is a nut job, such as the people that they don't hire because they enjoy what they're doing. I mean, it's a thing that I hate to say it like this, but dark-skinned people just, it's a stigma. It just had this thing where they see another black male and females vice versa, and they just instantaneously don't know them, don't like them, and now that they're getting paid to do, they don't give a care what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? You may not be doing anything. You might have been that person in the grocery store that did not feel that it was right to allow a person with one bag to cut in front of you, which would have cut in front of the people that was behind them, or for whatever reason they did it, but because of things that was done in the darkness, this thing was done in the darkness. They literally hid it from us or put it on the books secretly and crookedly, and now it's out of control. People don't want to be police officers. You really can't blame them. You know what I'm saying? Here you got people riding around driving Mercedes Benz and blah blah blah, and they working and targeted as police officers, hated by the influence of the news, which is all a part of those that's in power. And believe me, I'm not a prejudiced person. When you learn me, you'll find that I have quite a bit of friends of different nationalities, because I don't see people. And now, don't get me wrong. Now, I do. When I see, people treat me in a racist way, it does make me feel another way. But I have to remember that God gave me friends of different nationalities, and that reminds me that everybody is not the same. This thing is brutal. It attacks your everything. I've been dealing with this since 2012 from St. Louis, Missouri. I started in St. Charles, Missouri, and so forth. I've traveled throughout the USA doing transport and continue to get harassed by the stalkers. So it's where's they getting the money from? Where are they getting the power? It's a reason why these businesses will stupidly fall into this trend because of the amount of, so it's basically like the mafia. You know, if you don't help us with them or that or this, then when you call the police, you know, my phone have invisibly lost 911. The feds play like they don't know what you're talking about. But there is an office in the Chicago's mayor's office of Neighborhood Watch organization. But they can't do any wrong if you try to make a complaint. How do you make a complaint against them? In one state, they made it where is it if you try to retaliate against a Neighborhood Watch organization member, that it's a federal offense. So they're making it very comfortable for ordinary people with nobody cameras on, with very little governing over them, to do what they're doing. Very comfortable. But I myself, I am not of that breed to lie down and live in fear. For I've learned that that's not living at all. I've learned that Christ is my everything. See, for me to live is Christ, and for me to die is gain. And that even means I love my loved ones. But if I fail in Christ Jesus, I fail them. Because Christ is the only one that is strong enough to go up against this thing that we're going up against. Because how do I even know love except for I know Christ? Christ the one that taught me love. He first loved me. He gave his life upon the cross. And I know all TIs are not Christians. And believe me, I would love to convert everyone. But at this time, all I'm doing is living. This is who I am. And if it causes you to convert, bless God. But I do know even those that are not of Christ, they are human beings and do not deserve to be treated in a sense of hatred, and their privacy being invaded, and their mind being polluted, and living uncomfortable. So then I fight not for myself only, but I fight for every living creature upon this earth. We're in the land of the USA, the land of the free. I love you guys. If this be my last time, if it be for a period of time, because I got to do some things, because I'm wrestling with a organization that I truly believe that is being fed by the TIs. And I say that carefully because I'm a cautious person. I don't want to point blame at something or somebody or organization or company. I'm not absolutely sure, but the evidence continue to build in that sense. And so started a thing called X Out companies, that businesses that support stalkers, harassers, these vigilante organizations. And it's meant to put the hurt back at them, because they try to attack our finances, and they try to, portray us as nothing when we are really something. Because the stuff that we deal with, walk a mile in our shoes and tell me that we ain't nothing. For whatever we are, if we're alcoholics and driving behind the steering wheel, call the police. Don't invade my privacy, and don't start playing mind games with me. If I'm a drug addict, call the police. But again, as I said, this thing was done in darkness. It wasn't done with our votes, and not on the books directly so we can see it if it was somehow sneakily sold into the books. But we have the power. I said that a while back. We have the power. We're over 9.5 thousand on one website or group page of Facebook, and then we're 6.3 thousand in another group, and there's a lot more out there. There's a lot more that haven't found us. There's a lot more that don't even understand what's happening to them. People are done cracked up and hid into their houses and afraid to talk to people. But I say live. Because if you ain't living, you dead. It's no longer shall I be afraid of going into a store and them converting the store to following you around and looking at you as if you are a thief. Nah, I'm going to X out that company, that business. My finances will no longer go in that place. And I support and hope that you'll support the same thing, that we'll start to put the hurt back when they think about playing games with us. And we go further than that. That's the calm. But we got to organize. We got to realize that we are not to be victims any longer. We done played the victim role. Now it's time to be the heroes. It's time to stand up, because it's not just affecting us. Tomorrow, it will affect your children, your family, and you got to think of a child watching their parents do stuff. The kids ain't stupid. They continue to see the same person, the same vehicle, and mom and dad and them ain't doing nothing but following that person. And they figure it out. They hear it. Kids at young age, 3 years old, they pick up on our conversations and stuff like that. They wind up getting in trouble because they're young and they don't understand. Government got organizations at one point that was against bullying. This is bullying. But I will say this. As a Christian, we knew this time would come. Lucifer would begin to reign. He would begin to elevate to a point of strength, such as he has. To do some of the things these people do, you have to be something. Something without conscience, something without love, something without emotions. I've seen them play with homeless people, purchasing them to do things because they thought that, they look random to you, trying to explain it to the police. But in time, evidence build. I will have my freedom. And it's not just for me. See, I just can't break free. If they stop messing with me today, I know there's still TIs out there that's being harassed. I can't do it. Because what's to stop them from doubling back? It was a songwriter that said to lay down your life, put your hand in somebody else's life. Man, that's a deep scenario. Gun pointed at you, and a joker ordering you to do things. Even if you got something to protect yourself with, to put your life in another man's hand. You don't know that person's mind state. That's just what we are doing when we feel like it eased up a little bit. Today, tomorrow, and they decide they want to pick, because they're individuals and they're not being governed. They don't have a board watching over them. A couple of them get the message from the big bosses, say leave them alone. Other ones that's jealous harder than you, they continue to pick. They still have the device. They still have a couple of lit friends that want to continue